Hi everyone, it's Erin from EB Mixed Media. Today we're going to be making a cute Love Notes notebook using supplies from Graphic Arts. We're starting using a piece of Graphic Arts craft plastic in white. I've cut my piece down to 4.5 inches by 6 inches. I'm going to use watercolors to decorate this piece of plastic. I've started with Tim Holtz Distress Oxide in Walnut Stain, and I'm just using some clean water and a brush to move that around. Now I'm drying it with a blow dryer. Next, I'm using really bright neon watercolors to decorate this page in a really abstract, free-flowing way. I'm using the hot pink, the orange, and the yellow, and I'm blending these colors together right on the page. Keep adding color and alternating with your drying tool until you get it to a point where you're happy with it. Use your drying tool or allow the piece to completely dry before proceeding to the next step. Next, I'm using Tim Holtz Distress Oxide in Walnut Stain and applying that to a scripted stamp. This will just add some additional interest to your piece. Now I'm using gold acrylic ink and a fan brush dipped in water to add some splatters as a final touch. I'm going to be stenciling the word love on the cover of my notebook. I'm using some black acrylic paint, and I find a nice scrap of the Dura-Lar film works as an excellent palette. If you don't have a stencil, you could certainly freehand the word love. Using a black acrylic paint pen, a Sharpie would work as well. I'm using an inexpensive makeup sponge to apply the paint to the stencil. Next, I'm writing the word notes at the bottom of the cover. I start writing it in pencil to make sure of spacing. I then go over it with a Papermate Flair in black. Finally, I outline the word love with a gold Signo Uniball pen. To protect the cover, I'm using Grafix laminating film. Simply peel it back and place it over the cover, pressing out any bubbles as you go. Trim any excess using scissors. To fill my notebook, I'm using a variety of papers, including cardstock, watercolor paper, Dura-Lar film in matte, and Dura-Lar film in clear as well. You'll also need a sturdy piece of cardboard for the back of your notebook. The cardboard on the back of your pad of Dura-Lar film is the perfect weight. You can cut all of your papers to size with a paper cutter. Cut your cardboard using a utility knife and a ruler. My notebook measures 6 inches by 4.5 inches. So all of my papers and cardboard are cut to that size. This notebook uses a disc system to hold the papers in place. I'm using a special punch to cut notches into the paper. If you don't have a punch, I'll show you how to cut notches without one. The cardboard is too thick for the punch. You can cut notches using a hole punch and scissors, as I'm demonstrating here. You can find these discs at craft supply stores. Simply thread your pages onto the discs. These discs are size medium. There are usually 9 in a package, so I've made 2 notebooks, one with 5 discs and one with 4. Next, I'm using Grafix shrink film in gold and clear to create some hearts to add to my notebook cover. I'm using a Sharpie to draw hearts onto the gold shrink film. You can also use colored Sharpies or alcohol ink markers. Keep in mind the shrink film will shrink 20% of its original size. I'm outlining my pink hearts in black and using a Signo Uniball gel pen in white to add a little accent. Use scissors to cut out the heart, leaving a slight border. You can use Grafix shrink film in your oven, but I like to use my heat tool. Your item will begin to shrink within seconds. It will roll in on itself, but don't worry, it'll straighten out as you apply more heat. To affix the heart to my notebook, I'm using Artist-Tac dry adhesive. Peel back the protective backing. You can see small dots of glue on the page. Place the heart of your choice onto those glue dots and then burnish it in order to get the glue off of the paper and onto your heart. Then simply affix your heart to your notebook. And that's it. Your notebook is complete. I hope you enjoyed this project. I know I did. I've already created a few pages in my new notebook. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to see more of my artwork, you can find me on EB Mixed Media. That's EB_Mixed Media on Instagram and YouTube. For more fun projects, visit graphicarts.com.